Adam Sandler's funny and deeply moving musical tribute to the 50 years of Saturday Night Live on last night's 50th anniversary show, of course, began with the person who created it all and is solely responsible for keeping Saturday Night Live on television for a remarkable 50 years. Lorne Michaels, the television miracle worker who is the subject of Susan Morrison's beautifully written and observed new book, Lorne, the man who invented Saturday Night Live. It is one of those masterful pieces of writing that doesn't require an interest in the subject. If you've never seen Saturday Night Live, the book is still relentlessly fascinating. If you've ever worked in an office, for example, there is much for you to learn from one of the greatest practitioners of office politics in the world, Lorne Michaels. There are surprises about your favorite cast members, and there is the young man named Lorne struggling and often considering himself a failure in show business before he created Saturday Night Live. It is the best biography I have ever read of a living person because Lorne Michaels so willingly and often self-critically turns over his cards in discussions with Susan Morrison that are more revealing than any interview he's ever given. The book is a cultural history of the last 70 years of North American entertainment, very much including Canada, where Lorne Michaels grew up. My best friend Jim Downey, who I have known since the first week of college, went to work at Saturday Night Live in the second season, and by hanging around with Jim and our friend Saturday Night Live writer Al Franken at their workplace during my unemployed years, and frequently lunging for the free food at the Saturday Night Live after parties, I met Lorne Michaels, who gracefully accepted me into the extended entourage of Saturday Night Live. In those days, I never expected to work in this building, certainly not in the news business, in the same building with Saturday Night Live. And one night, 14 years ago, after the first several months of doing this show, when I was headed home at about 11:30, the elevator doors opened and there was Lorne Michaels, alone in the elevator, heading home too. Right away, he started telling me everything he liked about my show, which shocked me that he was even watching it. And he was detailed, so I could tell he was. He said everything he liked about it and everything he liked about what I was doing. And I didn't understand it. I didn't understand what he was saying because he was describing something that I could not see. I could not see the show the way he could see my show. And I could not see my work the way he could see my work. And I told him I wanted to have a crawl at the bottom of the screen saying, "You're watching an unrehearsed first draft," because both of those things offended me. I had never shown my first draft scripts to anyone. In my Hollywood days of writing TV drama episodes, I used to give my scripts to Emmy-winning actors, and without changing a word, they would make every line I wrote better. And now I was stuck out there doing my scripts straight to camera without even time to rehearse. And I blurted all this out in show business shorthand to Lorne in that elevator ride down of only about 5 floors in Rockefeller Center. And his eyes seemed sympathetic, but he wasn't. He told me that I was wrong about everything that I was worried about. And then he said the most important thing anyone has ever said to me about doing this show, doing live television. Lorne said, "We don't do it because we're ready. We do it because it's 11:30. Last night, Adam Sandler's wonderful song began with Lorne Michaels and ended with Lorne Michaels.
30 years of Downey, 45 years of Lorne, 6 years of our boy Farley, 5 of our buddy Norm, 50 years of one of us getting to say live from New York, it's Saturday night, 50 years of standing on home base, waving goodnight and goodbye, 50 years of the best times of our lives. All right. Thank you, Lord.
Joining us now is Susan Morrison, the articles editor at The New Yorker. Her wonderful new book, Lorne, The Man Who Invented Saturday Night Live, is out tomorrow. I'm one of the lucky ones who has it now. Susan, I love it beyond description. The writing is so beautiful. It's so wonderful. It's your first book, and you know we're always hoping our friends with first books deliver. And you've been on this for years.
A decade.
Yeah,
and
10 years.
Yeah, thank you for that nice introduction. This is the first time I've thought about the book as workplace comedy, but you're absolutely right. That's what it is. It's The Office in hardcovers.
And I have to say, you know, I knew you were working on it for about 10 years, and I would run into you over at SNL at different times, and you start to get concerned for a book author who's in around year 5 or so, you know, because there's some quicksand there that some people never get out of. And so I wasn't never going to say anything because I've been very late on books myself. But here's what I think. I don't know how you could have written this book in less than 10 years. It is so wonderfully detailed in all these exquisite ways that are unique to your observational powers.
Well, you know, right after the 40th anniversary of the show, I started thinking about how no one has had more influence on how so many generations of Americans laugh and what we think is funny than Lorne Michaels. And the idea that he's been able to sustain it over these decades is remarkable. I thought it would be really interesting to try to get close up and see how he makes that happen. Now, as you know, because you know Jim Downey, as I do, to the inside comedy world, Lorne has long been this object of obsession. He's the Wizard of Oz, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Jay Gatsby. But
I mean, every one of them has spoken as many words as in this book about Lorne Michaels. I mean, Jim in his lifetime has said at least this much.
This is another reason why it took a long time to write the book, is that the reporting took too long. Every time you sit down to talk to somebody about Lorne Michaels, they go off for hours.
But you had such fantastic sources from Jim to Conan O'Brien to John Hamm to everyone, Tina Fey, everyone, all insightful.
Not only is Lorne a very intelligent guy and a great talker who doesn't usually talk to the press, which was my benefit here, but everyone he hires is very smart and articulate and funny. So every one of these people, and I talked to all of them, is a journalist's dream. Conan O'Brien told me, if you ever bump into an SNL person, you could be talking about, former Prime Minister Theresa May or healthcare, but within 5 minutes you're going to be talking about Lorne Michaels buying flip-flops on St. Bart's. All roads lead to Lorne. And so my idea was to try to get inside this obsession, why they're all so curious about him, why they want to please him so desperately, and help explain that to the wider comedy world.
And you take us through that work week at SNL, the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, how each day is different. Each day becomes more difficult than the one before. You also take us through the beginning story of Lorne Michaels that begins in Canada. And I want to put up a picture of Lorne and Rosie Schuster. This is when they're in high school. This is at 1964. This is a Friends Sweet 16 party. This photo's in the book. I've never seen photos like this of Lorne Michaels. So I just was so engrossed with the beginning chapters of his life, his childhood, and losing his father at a young age, taking on Rosie Schuster's father, who was a professional comedian. And I didn't realize that. I didn't connect Rosie Schuster to that.
One of the things that you're dealing with if you're a biographer is that once your character walks onto the world stage, it's kind of open season. Like, people know a fair amount about Lorne in the years since 1975. For me, the most fun part was excavating the years before that, because no one knows anything about him. And in fact, he did very interesting, the seeds of SNL sprung on the, plywood stage of his summer camp.
Yeah.
but
he's the guy putting on a play at summer camp.
And he was so famous at it that kids in summer camps in Michigan knew about Lorne Lipowitz, the great camp impresario. But my favorite part of the research was dealing with the 10 years that Lorne bounced around L.A. before SNL, where he worked on one cruddy cheeseball variety show after another, the Perry Como Christmas special, the beautiful Phyllis Diller show. But what's interesting is that these things were duds, and they were largely written by guys who were in their 50s and 60s, who were refugees from radio. So Lorne thought, oh my God, television is a dead end. But, almost like a character out of Dickens, no matter how grim the situation, he always learned something from it. He always took a lesson from it. One of An example of this is when he was working for the beautiful Phyllis Diller show in the 60s. And I wish we had a shot of Phyllis Diller, but the audience then wasn't ready to see a woman, especially an abrasive woman, running a show. They found her off-putting. So the producers had this idea, let's have Phyllis just sit down and have a kind of fireside chat with some of the guests to warm her up to the audience. It was Lauren's job to interview those guests and supply the questions. Well, there's a direct line between those Phyllis Diller interviews and the opening monologue of SNL. Mm-hmm. The monologue at SNL performs the same function. You have a movie star coming onto this TV show, doesn't know what he's doing, but by just chatting amiably with the audience, everyone is kind of put at ease.